gamers, Prydwyn has ruined the Zenless Zone 0 tier list. They moved down every DPS. What are we gonna do? Our Ellen Joe. They nerfed her tits so we can't have both. Oh my god, guys. Today we're going to be looking over the Prydwyn tier list. They have actually made so many changes here, and we're just going to have to talk about it. We're just going to have to see the destruction. Look at this. Oh, Ellen. Oh, Julian with that fat ass. Oh, you can't nerf her fat ass. Though, I guess Jane Doe does have a fatter ass than her. Food for thought. Anyways, gamers, let's go ahead and hop into the new Prydwyn tier list now, however cope it might be. Actually, they did what I said to do. They genuinely did what I told them to do. And what I mean by this, guys, is I said they needed another tier. They needed a whole other tier. Now, I didn't expect them to move everyone down, okay? But I did say they needed another tier. We're going to get into that in a second here. Firstly, I want to start off on this side here. Obviously, guys, nothing much has changed here. Honestly, I think, if anything, she has gotten a bit better this patch with the addition of Bernice, which I think we did a tier list when Bernice was already out. But yeah, also with Yanagi as well, she works really well with, because you would realistically just run a team with Lucy, this, and then this. She can help with some anomaly buildup. She can help with some damage. She helps with buffs as well. Overall, I think Lucy is a really good character. Honestly, probably the best free-to-play buffer in the game. If I have the, I'm not like hands down, I think the best free-to-play buffer in the game. You should definitely build her. There is a build guide up on the channel already if you want to see that build guide. But yeah, she stays where she at. I think that's fine. But Miss Shokaku, yep, she moves down. That's what I said in my last video. I said that she moves down, and the reason why I said that she moved down, guys, is because, first of all, this is what she supports. This is her main bread and butter of support right here, right? I guess namely even this right here, because she works with ice-based teams. So Ellen Joe moves down, she moves down. But on top of this, guys, I just feel like she's kind of clunky and slow in a lot of situations. Like her little whirlwind thing, while it does give like 1,000 attack buff, and it also gives some other buffs on top of that, overall, it takes a while to get through it on the chain attack. Now, I get that you can cancel out of it on, I guess, like your normal, like doing your skill attack, whatever. You can do quick swap out of it or whatnot. I'm not really talking about that. I think the quick swap is fine. I think she also has some other restraints too, whereas you kind of need to, I guess, set the team up in the right order so you're quick swapping to the right person, because after you swap off to them, you're going to be losing that shield or the fly the flag buff, right? So only one person can get the fly the flag buff, and they have to be on that quick assist to actually get that off. So I actually 100% agree with her getting moved down here. I agree with that getting moved, or staying the same. I agree with pretty much everything here. Actually, I kind of disagree with this. I think that Rena should be moved up. And the reason why I think Rena should be moved up is because I do think she has more viability now with the shock teams, right? So I think that she plays really well in a team with this, this, and then probably this right here. I think these three characters right here play a really integral role to the best in slot Yanagi team. So that's what I would say. I would say that she moves up for the reason that she plays a lot more into this shock DPS meta now, because we do have shock disorder now. I do think being able to increase the amount of shock anomaly you're able to do on the enemy overall increases the amount of disorder that you're doing. So for that reason, I probably would be moving Rena up a tier on par with these guys here, right? What do I think about him, though? Do I think he should still... Yeah, his shield's pretty nice. His shield helps a lot of players out and get through content, right? I think it's fine. I think the shield's really nice for him. And Ben Biggerton, still haven't built him, still haven't used him. You guys let me know in the comment section down below whatever you think of Mr. Ben Biggerton. So we're going to keep him there for now. Now let's move on to stuns. And I also want to talk about Lighter here as where and where I think he'll stand. No changes here to the stun class. Obviously, we really haven't gotten much with stun overall. Realistically, I mean, I think this all stays the same. I mean, there's not really any take that I want to make here other than maybe putting Lighter on this list. I think Lighter's probably going to stay right here. I think Lighter's probably going to be tier 0. He provides some DPS, and he also provides breaking the enemy shield. I think that he is going to be a great sub DPS versus like the debuff category here. Now, not to say that he isn't putting debuffs on the enemy, but I do think he'll provide some sub DPS level of damage. While I do think her debuff on the enemy is going to be a bit bigger than the debuff he can do on the enemy, I do think overall he'll provide a little bit more sub DPS. So I would probably put him like a sub DPS here. Charge? What does charge mean? I guess by like using your skill or whatnot? I don't know. I'll probably have to look at that later. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think that Lighter will be here. I mean, nothing's really changed here. What I really want to talk about are these two categories, right? Pure DPS and anomaly DPS, because there's a lot to be said about both these categories. First of all, we know that Miyabi is coming to the game, right? And Miyabi is going to be an ice or maybe different type of character. Because from just looking at this art right here, she has like this weird little symbol right over here. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean that she is like an ice character, or does that mean she's like a different type? I saw some people online saying that she's gonna be like a void hunter or something like that. So maybe if they add a new type into the game that synergizes better with like some of these other classes, that would be cool. But I don't know what that's going to look like or even be, right? So I guess for now, I'm not really going to rely on the type. She was ice originally, but they did change her from attack to anomaly now, which is but yeah, so I kind of want to talk about where Yanagi's at right now. And then I also want to talk about where I think Miyabi's going to go as well for the future. I guess we can also talk, we're going to talk about where the other guy's going to go too, but yeah, I think deserving of this spot, Yanagi's up here, right? I think Yanagi plays super well on like the proc-based team, so I think she plays really well with characters that you maybe wouldn't use too much. Like, I think she plays really well with Grace as a sub DPS. I think she can play really well with Piper as well, actually really well with Piper. That's the team that I'm using to run right now, which would be Yanagi here, Piper, and then also bringing Lucy into the mix. So pretty free-to-play team using her as well. So I mean, that's the team that I'm using right now. I think it does work out pretty well. I also think that you can use her on a team with Bernice. Like, she has a lot of avenues to use these other characters for. Not to say that Jane Doe doesn't, right? Because I do think that Jane Doe has a lot of these avenues, this, and this. I really don't think Grace is as good of an avenue for Jane Doe, so I think you can kind of eliminate that from her playstyle here. But overall, I feel like that she has the pretty similar amount of avenues, considering that she can use her ability to proc this off. But yeah, I do think that damage-wise that she can keep up with someone like Jane Doe. I will say, though, I think Yanagi is much more dependent on your other anomaly characters being built up well, because Disorder is going to be relying off of the other two procs that you get. So if you don't have another good anomaly character on the team, your damage is going to suffer because of it. Whereas if you're just running Jane Doe on the team with like some buffers, she's able to proc her own anomaly off, which just does massive damage anyways, right? So you're not really having to rely as much on the team as you're having to rely on her, right? Bernice being up here, I can agree with that too. I think she's a great sub DPS, but the problem that I run into is actually when Miyabi comes out, right? Because Miyabi is either going to be a sub DPS or she's going to be something like a main DPS, like one of these two characters, right? I don't think she's going to be a main DPS. Generally, with how the game is right now, I think she'll probably end up being a sub DPS role from things I've heard around the community and stuff like that. I think she'll be a sub DPS role. So what does that mean for the tier 0 of anomaly DPS? I think that I really don't think we're gonna have 4 characters up here in tier 0. Maybe we do. I don't think so though. I think there should be a defining gap in between what these characters do. Like, I think putting Bernice down in this tier, because she doesn't provide as much damage per se as some of these characters do. They do provide a lot of utility and sub DPS-ness, but overall damage they're not really providing that much. And I think I would value overall damage from my anomaly DPS, as the class is named here, over, I guess, anomaly sub DPS, right? So with her just even being a sub DPS, I think just for that reason, I would move her down to this tier. Maybe you would just slot her down, depending on how Miyabi is, and have only one sub DPS slot up here, because I don't think there's room for 2 sub DPS up here. So I think whatever the better sub DPS is, you put the better sub DPS up here, and then you move the other sub DPS down. That's how I can see it going. So it really depends on how good Miyabi is and what typing she is, everything like that. Like, if she ends up being a completely new class, I think that would be really good for Disorder teams in general, if it plays really well with Disorder, which I'm assuming it does, because they're on the same type of team together. Now, as far as the other things here, guys, Piper being here, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Genuinely, I have been playing with Piper so much at M6. I like her so much better than Grace. Really, I would probably move Piper up here. I think Piper is super good. I'm actually curious to see the reason why they have Piper right here in tier 1, not versus anything else. Let me see if I agree with the pros and cons here, because I don't know, has incredibly limited potential when it comes to teammates she shares a faction or synergy with outside of other physical DPS, which she can compete on field time for. Competes with many A-rank physical DP. What? It doesn't matter though. What? Why does it matter if she's? Why is that a con though? If she's the best, she's the best. Who is she competing with? Neko, this and this, these dog shit tier fucking characters over here, no shot. I think she doesn't really struggle for teammates either. I think she is a really good teammate in Lucy here. I think that these two characters are a match made in heaven together. I think they work so well together, because you can get a quick assist off into her and then do your little spin to win move, and then also the little guys that out on the field are helping her do damage as well. I just think it's really good. Honestly, I think she has a really good synergy here with this. I think she's one of the best free-to-play characters in the game. I'm not gonna lie, like DPS wise. Honestly, she is out DPSing my YUAN team. Now, that could be a testament to how dog shit builds my builds are. I mean, we can take a look at all my builds right now in game, because I mean, I really haven't farmed up for many of these like drives or anything yet. So I mean, you can take a look at my builds here. I mean, they're all pretty damn bad. 38, 131, 2600 attack. Like, my builds here are not the best builds, right? And that could be a reason why I'm judging them like this, just because I really haven't went through and farmed stuff. Everything's under leveled, A ranked, everything like that. This is the build of my Piper right here. She's missing a lot of levels on her stuff too. She's also missing 2 levels here, and then also her skills are not maxed out. She's missing 1 thing here, but these are her stats right there. 289, 1800 there. Could definitely be better. Oh, she's not even M6 actually. I thought she was M6. Bro, wait. When she turns M6, she's gonna be an absolute menace, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, she's gonna be a menace when she becomes M6, guys. Overall, yeah, at M6, I do think she moved up then. I cannot believe that everything got moved down here. Now, I'm gonna be a little bit of a cut here, you could say, right? Genuinely, guys, comparing YUAN to Ellen, I just don't think there's a good... I think that YUAN is so much better than her. After using YUAN more, after using her more, I just find Ellen, if you don't have her at least M1, to be so clunky with getting off the slashes and getting like her, I don't even know what the nodes are called, the little nodes for her ice attack off. I would be moving her down for that reason. I think that overall, in terms of burst situations, she is much better. Plus, I think you can run her in a much more free-to-play team. Like, I think that overall, with someone like Miss Ellen Jo here, she's relying on Lycon a lot to be on that team. And then you have Shokaku as well, right? Which is a clunky type of DPS. But with her, with someone like YUAN, I think you could easily slot in this right here, which is arguably a better, I think just a better debuff, obviously, on this. Our Bible of Prydwyn says that she's better. I do think she's better just because she's a bit faster. Also, it offers defense shred as well. Super, super nice. I really like her being here. Also, my, whatever her name is, Nicole, is like level 50 right now, so she's not even leveled up for real. So this plays into that. Let me stop rambling. And then finally, you can kind of run anything else here, right? Like you can run this. If you were to get her best in slot, obviously it's signature, so ew, cringe there. But I think she also runs perfectly fine with one of these two characters well, or even running a Caesar King on the team could also provide you with assistance there too, where I feel like she more so relies on this because he does offer that that extra damage to ice type enemies, or I guess for your ice type attacks, right? So overall, I'd probably keep YUAN here because I do think that these guys do outpace YUAN, but I would probably move Elenjo down one tier. Soldier, I think she stays right there. I've been saying this for a while. I think that he doesn't even belong to be in this tier. I think that he belongs to be in this anomaly DPS tier because I feel like so much of his damage does rely on you shocking the enemy, and that's why I think that he belongs probably on the same tier as what she is here, because he is directly, I think his damage is like directly correlated to the like damage you're doing with her and her shock. So I would be putting him here. Now, I did say last patch I'd have him in tier 0.5. After using, I guess, Piper a bit more, and then using him a bit more, probably would put him under Piper at this point, and then, like I said, move Piper up to that tier 0.5. I can pretty much agree with everything else here. Like I said, I think there need to be another tier for Corrin. I don't think Corrin is really all that bread and butter. I mean, I really haven't used her too much. The small amount of times I have used her, she's been okay. Like, she hasn't been the best thing in the world. So I really don't think any of these characters are really fighting for Piper here. So this is kind of what my tier list looks like, guys. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Is Prydwyn cope with their takes here? Because, I mean, there's a lot of changes that I would make, obviously. Moving all of these characters down a tier, you know, that's BM for real. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Yeah, does Prydwyn need to fix their shit or not? Bye, guys. See you later.